What's going on, YouTubeites? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box presents the Shakers CovrPrice comic book Shakers of the week. And yes, you have an opportunity to go 117 for 17 or 0 for 17. And to believe it or not, there's a lot of modern books on here, but not books you see that often. I would say there's a good chance if you are a watcher of the show and you visit our sponsor, KRS Comics, there's a good chance you have one of the books on here because we told you guys to get it. But while you guys are congregating, it's time for you to hear the word. I'm just going to leave that comment up there because that's going to be the subject of tonight's show.
Good old days, man.
Why don't we see boobs in TV? Before we came on air, we were just talking about, like, you ever notice they don't show nudity in films anymore? And I was telling a story how in third grade, one of my school buddies had a birthday party and his big brother took us all to go see Porky's.
Yeah. But what brought it up was Peacemaker.
Yeah,
there's boobs in Peacemaker, and I was like, whoa, that's a boob. Like, when's the last time I seen that? That wasn't, you
rarely ever see
I
it.
was married to.
But in the 80s, it was like a whole genre that Porky started, and then and then Zapped. Remember? Oh my God, Heather Thomas.
American Pie. I probably saw that movie 20 times because what's her face was topless.
Apparently, American Pie was probably the last film that really did gratuitous nudity. But with that, boys and girls, welcome to the CovrPrice Comic Book Shakers of the Week. And Matt was probably regretting that the show is sponsored by CovrPrice.com. Go to CovrPrice.com for your price guides, collections, and trends, the top 10 movers, and this week's list, the daily. This is the weekly Shakers list. Also, say hello to our new sponsor, Key Collectibles, for all your pressing and CGC facilitating needs. You can hit him up on Facebook or on Instagram. He presses, submits, does facilitation. He has great relationships with, he knows a lot of people. Stanley, he worked with Stanley Collectibles, Rob Liefeld. So hit up Key Collectibles if you want to get your books pressed and clean. Ryan had a pretty successful
does a great
turnaround.
job. Yeah, I can say 100%.
And I got my books turned around, pressed, and in about 3 days, and then he's going to submit. So
Actually,
if you're
some soon.
If your presser and CDC facilitator is busy and backlog, hit up our friends over at Key Collectibles. Tell them the Lord sent you. The show is also sponsored by our friends at KRScomics.com. Go to KRScomics.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB to get rib moolah to save money off badass issues like this. Cool. I can't live without my radio. This dropped on Wednesday, and more fire is dropping Friday. In Huckley, Silk number 2. Wow. This is absolutely gorgeous. So noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Cool. Make sure you set your alarms. This is going to be fire, man. This is going to be fire. But I'm really feeling this one, and this is perfect.
I got it. I logged on. I use that discount.
Yeah, use the discount code to save yourself some McRib money, even though you can't get a McRib right now. Also, our show is sponsored by My Slabs. They still have a contest running through February 15th where you can win a Hulk 85, the first ever appearance of Wolverine on the last page. It's a random drawing. Qualifications are follow MySlabs_comics on Instagram, like and share the post, and a winner must have a My Slabs account. So make sure it's an Instagram giveaway, so make sure you hit them up on the grams. Once again, this is the CovrPrice Comic Book Shakers of the Week, where our friends at CovrPrice, focusing on new sales are the most interesting, focusing on new high sales are the most interesting sales found in the exclusive daily Shakers list. This list changes several times every day, so make sure you check it out every day to review some of the hottest trending books in the market. And after we go over these top 17 books, we will see what's shaking today. And you know what? There's a lot of modern books in here, but don't let the smooth taste fool you. They're not easy books to find, to say the very least. But one of them, I think you guys should have. You guys have been watching this show, so let's keep things out.
Did you say 17 books?
Yep,
17 books, folks.
17. So you can go 0 for 17 or 17 for 17 or somewhere like that. Or maybe it's 16 because one of the numbers, there's 7 books on it. So figure it out. I don't know. As you guys go along, you guys will figure it out. You guys are better at math than I am. All right, so let's get right to it. What do we got first on our Shakers list?
You're muted, Gabe.
All right, let's do this. Whoops. All right. So number 1 this week, we got Animakami Girls, number 1, the Dustin Nguyen 1 in 25 variant, DC Comics 2012. Animakami used to be a book that Dollar Bin Diaries would see on a frequent basis. This manga-inspired series was pretty awesome. In this universe, only women, heroes and villains alike, had powers. It was a fun series that just didn't get the attention it deserved and only lasted 13 issues between 2 series from 2012 and 2013. Due to its low print run of only 25,000 copies for issue number 1, dropping to 9K by issue 8. This series can be tough to find these days. This is especially the case for this very elusive 1 in 25 variant by Dustin Nguyen. This week, a raw copy set a new high record for a raw at $300, just $25 short of the all-time high of $325 for a CGC 9.6. Almost every cover of the series is fantastic and worth picking up. As they dry up in the collections, they only get harder to find and give this variant a continuous boost in value. Keep in mind, there's only one other variant for Animakami Girls, which was this awesome anime figure variant 1 in 25 for the second series. It's also very tough to track down and has a high chance of seeing similar numbers.
This is very interesting because I consider Dustin Nguyen a friend of mine. I met him at a show like 5 years ago, and we talked. I even interviewed him on the Old Lords channel, and every time I've seen him, he's been very gracious with his time. My niece was an artist, and he used to give stuff to her, sign stuff to her, and say, keep on drawing, keep on drawing. Dustin Nguyen is a really cool guy. What's interesting, if you follow Dustin Nguyen's art, this is not what he typically does. He kind of does this kind of watercolor covers. If you look at his Descender and Ascender series, you know what I mean? This is something you don't typically see Dustin Nguyen style. It's a departure, or maybe it was his old style since it's from 2012. But if you read Ascender and Descender, you notice he has like this kind of, I want to say it's almost airbrushed kind of paint, version. If you guys read Descender and Ascender, you'll see what I mean. But Animakami Girls, number 1, the Dustin Nguyen cover the Dustin Wynn variant from 2012. This may have been before he changed the style up. I'm trying to think, because he also did Little Gotham, right? What was that title that he did? Young Gotham or Little Gotham, where basically I think that's where he got his start.
Yeah, it was like the baby variant of DC Comics, pretty much.
Exactly.
Like younger versions of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he moved on and he started doing the Descender book, which was a great read, and then he did the prequel to the sequel to that, which is Ascender. So starting off with number MMA Comic Girls #1. All right, what do we got up next?
You know, he actually did a lot of DC Detective Comics covers also in like the 2000 time frame. So up next, we got Blade Vampire Hunter #1. This is Bart Sears' White Incentive back in 1999. And there's very little information on this White Incentive variant. It's from 1999. Marvel produced these white variants for several of their new titles like Warlock, Spider-Woman, Bishop, and Blade. It's thought that these were 1 in 100 variants due to being low printed. They were most likely 1 in 25 variants. Still, this particular Bart Sears cover for Blade Vampire Hunter #1 is very tough to find. It's one of those books you've seen before but ignored due to it being a Blade book from, let's face it, 1999. Well, that was a mistake, as a raw copy this week sold for $405. Wow. It may just be the rarest Blade comic.
Wow. So the first 2 books on our list are for raw sales.
That's nuts. I'm blown away by the raw
Tebow,
sales.
you're muted, Tebow.
Yeah, I've never seen this in a while, and if I did, I passed it along. I mean, 1999 was it was like the dead ball era for comic books and variants. You know what I mean? We talked about it before, right? I mean, there was like right around 99, and it started picking up again right around 2004, 2005. But there was a serious time where it was like, and I think people are going back and looking for these racial variants that were somewhat low print runs relative to the time period of the early 90s and 80s when it was huge print runs, and now we're getting back up to not quite there, but we're still in a higher print runs now, and reprints and subsequent reprints and all that stuff. But this is dope. I can imagine this has got to be a hard nut to crack in a 9.8 too, all white cover. Because here's the thing, people always talk about all black covers, because you can see all the spine text. Well, here's the thing about all white covers: you cannot see the spine ticks to break color because it's a white cover. You literally have to feel the spine to see if there's any, because I've been hit by that before. You look at it on all white covers, it looks fine to me. But if you pull your fingers down the spine, you can actually feel like if there's any indentations, So be careful when you get a white cover and you think it's near mint, man. You have to use the force, Luke, and feel it and feel it. All right.
Those white covers get dirty too. Those are impossible to keep clean, man. They're always dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, and normally it's the back cover because wherever people set them on.
Yeah.
All right, so Blade Vampire Hunter #1, the White Incentive variant from 1999. All right, here's a weird one.
All right, now before we hit this one, I just want to mention to the chat, 117 people with us right now, and if you're enjoying the show, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, man. We appreciate you. And also to everybody who was in the Flamingo late night dining on that Carnival Mardi Gras, you know what time it is. It's showtime. All right, next up we've got Care Bears issue #1, originally published in 1985 from Marvel Comics, and we've covered this many times before, but popular 80s and 90s brands are big sellers in high grade. This 80s was a strange time when toy content trends like these rainbow colored bears transcended gender, and why not? They were awesome, each featuring their own emoji-like symbol that also represented their personality. When together, the Care Bears stare delivered a powerful beam of love and cheer, turning jerks into love-filled individuals. Ah, the 80s. These are the things those 80s, 90s kids remember, which helped convince one of them to push a CGC 9.8 of the Care Bears' first appearance to a new high sale of $600.
Man, go figure, man. Because 1985, I think it was. I remember there were still Saturday morning cartoons in 1985, right? I mean, at the height of. I mean, I remember as a kid, I waking up at like 6 a.m. with a tub of cereal and watching morning, like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Express?
Yeah, unfortunately, those days are long gone.
Do you remember
man.
the Wuzzles?
Yeah,
I remember the Wuzzles.
Yeah, Get Along Gang. Yeah,
there used to be all kinds, but then it kind of transitioned into afternoon cartoons, like after school, like that at 3 p.m. That's when G.I. Joe and Transformers came on, like in the afternoon. I remember that. Like you would come home from school, before you do homework, you'd watch G.I. Joe, Transformers, Macross, Captain Harlock, all that good stuff, man. But Care Bears issue number 1, who would have thunk it? $600 for 9.8. All right, what do we got up next?
Gabe.
Oh, is that me? Perfect. All right. So number 4, DuckTales, number 1. This is awesome. San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Kaboom Studios in 2011. Behold, one of our favorite books of all time. This San Diego Comic-Con Kaboom exclusive is notable for several reasons. Note, Kaboom was Boom's former name. 1, it was the first NES box homage cover, and a pretty faithful one at that. 2, it has a low print run of 500 and is a testament to how fast that number can disappear in 11 years. Number 3, it's awesome. If you were an NES consumer in the 80s, then you know how important this game was to those who loved it. Even today, it's considered one of the best NES games of all time. The nostalgia around the series is palpable. Even looking at this cover, you can hear and feel Scrooge McDuck about to bounce on a treasure chest with his cane. These are the reasons why books like this sell for a premium. It's a simple yet visible emotional tie to being a kid. Hence, this week's new high and rare sale of $565 for a VG raw copy. Wow. Oh my God. Whoa.
Yeah, so we've talked about the gaming world bleeding into the comics world, right? It started with people were slabbing games, and then I think that eventually you saw comics based on video games, or those weird, first appearances of Mario and things like that are constantly on this list. So be on the lookout anytime you see these kind of early NES, and this is total 8-bit. I love how they even make it like super blurry 8-bit, but so San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, limited to only 500. Wow. And in 2011, it was, you can get tickets to San Diego Comic-Con too. It wasn't like a lottery like it is now. Where
that's when I used to go, and you could just walk up and buy a ticket. You could, it's like going to the movies. You'd be like, "Yeah, one please," and you get a ticket to go to San Diego for the full week. Yeah.
Now you got that damn lobby you have to sit in, and hopefully you can get in, and don't refresh your screen, boys and girls, as they say. All right. So DuckTales number 1, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from May 2011 for $565. All right. Get ready for this one, boys and girls. This is a 7 for.
A 7 for.
Yeah. So this is Electro Assassin. This is the actual, I'm assuming the series. This ultra-violent, non-comics code approved Electra series written by Frank Miller and illustrated by Bill Sienkiewicz has long been severely undervalued. These two comics legends should be enough to draw, though for some reason it's very cheap to pick up these copies. Due to Electra taking on Daredevil mantle, collectors are looking closer to her key issues. For example, almost all of the issues in this miniseries hit new highs this week, except for issue number 2. So issue number 1, these are all CGC 9.8 grades. It sold for $500, which was up from $150. Issue number 3 sold for $130, which is up from $103. The coolest issue in this series sold for $412, which is up from $150. Issue number 5 sold for $317. There's no prior sale information on that one. Issue number 6 sold for $273, which is up from $89. Issue number 7 sold for $409, which is, get this, up from $20. Issue number 8 sold for $204, which is up from $150. And you see, high grade sales out in the wild, grab them, especially number 1, number 4, and number 7. It's pretty awesome, kids.
These are beautiful covers. There's something going on. It's time for Bill Sienkiewicz to get more love and for these characters to get more excited about. This is a beautiful series.
This was part of the Epic imprint from Marvel, which was the more, I guess, adult-oriented. I mean, it wasn't full-on, like, sex and violence. I mean, it was more violent than anything else. But, this is back when they had their Epic imprint. Later on, they did a Max imprint for it was kind of like a adult-oriented comics, I guess, because I guess to skirt the comics code nowadays, they don't care if the comics code is on there or not. But
question about comics code. So this was not approved by the comics code. What about like current DC Black Label? Does that mean that stuff's also not approved by the comics code?
Yeah, I mean, you don't often see like the Comics Code Authority. If you look on, you don't see them on any of these other books either.
Nobody supports the comic book code anymore. They've all pulled out.
It's a dead entity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a self-regulating thing because of everything that happened with DC Comics. And just after a while, Marvel came up with their own rating on the books. You'll see that stuff in like the late 90s, early 2000s, where it would have a rating on it. That's where like the T came in and the M's and stuff like that for the rating.
Yeah, for mature.
So they could step away from having to pay the comic books code. I think they were paying something like $400,000 a year for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even do anything anymore. They're completely irrelevant after the 50s.
Yeah, the Comics Code Authority came into because of the congressional hearings, if I believe so, right? I mean, that's why you have we always talk about pre-code horror, which is pre-Comics Authority. I mean, and then they had those congressional hearings, and then so they were like, we need you guys to regulate, or the government's going to step in and do it. And so they created this Comics Code Authority, but everybody was like, hey, we want to step away from that. Then obviously. There was the drug issues are really what skirted the Comic Code Authority. Most people think it was the Green Arrow book, Green Arrow book, but it was actually a Spider-Man book that Stan Lee wrote that the Comics Code Authority didn't prove, and it was more of an anti-drug story. But just because he mentioned drugs, they wouldn't put the Comics Code Authority on it.
Cover of the DC though, wasn't it on the cover?
No, because what the story is, Neil Adams found out, hey, I don't have to adhere to the Comics Code Authority. I can do a drug story, and that's when they did the Green Arrow the My Ward is a Junkie issue, right?
Yeah.
That's when he said, wait. Because there's a documentary about it where Stanley and even Neil Adams said so. He goes, he got the inspiration for it because once he saw that Spider-Man did a drug issue, he goes, why can't we do it? And so there it is, man. A little bit of history for you. You learned something on this show. All right, so next on the list is the Elektra Assassin 1 in 8 miniseries, but it's everything but issue number 2. So it's issue 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there you go. You can add those onto your numbers, or you can just subtract 1, whatever. All right, what do we got up next?
All right, next up we've got Girl Romances, issue number 105, originally published in 1964 from DC Comics, and as we noted in past newsletters, for Secret Hearts 83 from 1962, if you're looking for books to invest in, then this is one to pay attention to. American pop art legend Roy Lichtenstein helped put comics literally on a pedestal. He showcased comic art with his signature style and turned it into works that are now worth millions, like Secret Hearts, which Lichtenstein used for his Drowning Girl piece. Girls' Romances, issue number 105, contains the art Roy referenced for the 1964 piece titled Sleeping Girl, which sold to an art collector for $43 million in 2012 and is considered to be worth double that today. Now, his comic inspiration is a tad more affordable, despite its raw sale of $283 this week, with an all-time high of $561 raw and $703 for a CGC 4.5 back in December. Now's a great time to jump into books that have immense cultural importance. You can't own the original art, but that's technically the second print anyway, right? No, we're not going there. Sorry. What do you guys think of this one?
So it wouldn't be a Shaker Show if we didn't have a weird romance book or a horror book, right? And obviously everybody remembers this this art that they did, and it was taken directly from this panel right there. You see that panel, and this is the art that he did. So recently there was I think in Mocha in LA, the Modern or Contemporary Museum of Art, whatever, and they had said something about this art, and I think it was Neil Gaiman or somebody said, "Hey, why don't you guys attribute the true artist who wrote this?" And and he said it was from this comic, and he actually made them change their mind. I have to find the article about it, but it was either Neil Gaiman or one of the other old school artists who was talking about, hey, the Liechtenstein, kind of copied this from these old romance issues from DC in the 60s, and so they finally updated. So there's a cool, like in LA, a pop culture museum where they have like a lot of Liechtenstein stuff and a lot of like graffiti and art stuff like you should check out. And there's also the museum. I forgot what the acronym stands for, but it's MoCA. It's the Modern Museum of Contemporary Art. There you go. I figured it out. Museum of Contemporary Art. It's called MoCA. But if you check it out, they have some really cool things. One time I went there and they had like all the costumes from Hollywood movies, original costumes. So everything but the red slippers from Gone with the Wind, or excuse me, from
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, which is a ghost. Nobody has found those, and that is the most hunted studio prop, movie prop ever. Is the red slippers from
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Keep on getting a brain fart because I used to watch that Netflix show, or I forgot to show a guy. It was a toy hunter guy, and he used to collect like movie props, and his quest was to find the red slippers worn in the Wizard of Oz, and apparently nobody's found them, or they've been destroyed, or a secret collector is hiding them somewhere, but they've never ever been for sale, or people who said that they claim they are, it's not the original red slippers that she wore. So Girls Romance, issue number 105 from 1964, halfway through the list. So let's hear from our word sponsor, My Slabs. You tired of paying 10%? Join the 1% revolution.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
And once again, they're doing a giveaway for a Hulk 180 8.5. Just follow them on MySlabs_comics on Instagram. Like, share the posts, and have a MySlabs account. And the drawing will be done on February 15th. You can get yourself a 8.5, which is a pretty pricey book nowadays. All right, since we're halfway there, let's get to one that is definitely, I have a feeling, is going to be an offer.
All right, so we got this one, number 7, is Spawn number 1, the Error Edition, Image Comics 1992. As we noted in every one of CovrPrice's year-end recaps, Spawn is both the best-selling aftermarket book and the number 1 book in all of our users' collections. Despite the high print run, Spawn number 1 and his various variants have been climbing in price. However, here's one that is rarely seen and rarely comes up for sale at a reasonable price. This week, a rare copy sold for an incredible $5,000 raw. Whew. Keep in mind that there are many error books out there that vary in color. For example, Edge of Spider-Verse number 2 has a dark version that sells for a premium. However, most copies listed as a dark version actually are not the dark version. They're just darker than other copies. The degree of darkness will always be open for debate, which holds it back from being recognized as a true error, which is why CGC doesn't acknowledge it. However, this Spawn error is a true error since it was printed with minimum to absolutely no black ink on the front and back cover, giving it a washed out look. It's super easy to recognize. CBCS notates it with manufacturing error, manufactured with very weak ink strike on the cover. CGC, who only gives it a qualified grade, noted as a manufacturing error, manufactured with uneven black ink on the cover. Whew. Spawn number 1 going crazy for this black error version.
Yeah, and it's
no
also
numbers
missing
on it.
the price. Yeah, it's also
I've never
missing
seen this.
the number and the price on it too. So I mean, besides that, I mean, because most of the time people when they see something that missing the price, they just think it's like a reprint that they put in like a toy. Typically, they don't have prices on them, but hey, if you see this, grab it. But $5,000 for a raw copy. Holy cow, man!
I've also never seen so many raw books on this list.
Yeah.
That's great though. That's really seeing where the market's going and the collectors.
The market is exploding
with the really high turnaround times for all of these grading companies. People are looking more and more at raws and buying raws as opposed to buying the graded books these days.
Yeah, especially this. I mean, can you imagine once I get this graded though? I mean,
there can't be that many of these. I would think the printer would just see this and just immediately just chuck it when it was first getting printed. So I'm surprised how many slipped through.
Or in 1992, the retailers were like saying, "Hey, man, I don't want this. It looks like trash." You know what I mean? Nowadays, people are like, "Ooh, error? What? I'm gonna, because I believe, I mean, Gabe, you worked at Torpedo before. Like, like sometimes they'll go out and they will actually tell you, "Hey, can you return these to us?" Right. And, and a lot of times they all say, "Oh yeah, sure. We'll return them." Next thing you know, you see them on sale a month later. So what they'll tell is, "Hey, destroy all the copies and we'll send you more." Right. Or send them back. Right. I mean, in 1992, they were probably like, well, I don't want this because the cover looks awful. But now it's like, recalledcomics.com is a whole industry around finding error copies or errors in the coloring or missing a page or something along those lines. So Spawn #1, the error edition, is the new grail from Spawn #1. I thought it was the black and white one, but man, I think this one's taking the cake. All right, here's your chance to get on the board, I think, because I've seen a lot of people on Instagram show this book before.
Yeah, here we go. This is Squadron Supreme #13 from Alex Sanchez. This is a 1-in-25 ratio from back in 2016. And there are a ton of Namor books out there, but there really aren't that many Namor variants. However, the Squadron Supreme #13 issue by Alex Sanchez is one of the few and probably the hardest to find. This week's new high sale of $300 is definitely one of the most valuable modern Namor books. Squadron Supreme #13 only had an estimated print run of about 16,000. Stores weren't ordering many copies of this series, let alone 25 copies. As you should all know by now, that means ultra tiny print runs for a variant like this.
Is this when Hyperion decapitated Namor? I'm trying to remember because it was right around that time. Wasn't there an issue where somebody got decapitated? Like, was it Namor that the Hyperion killed? I'm trying to remember. Somebody in the live chat, help me out. I'm trying to remember the storyline. It could have been from 2016, but it was like it was on the interiors where I could have swore it was Hyperion who took off Namor's head, and then he came back to life somehow. So somebody in the live chat who reads comics should remember what I'm talking about. Somebody got decapitated, or it was a Sentry. I know Sentry got his head decapitated at one time, but I believe it was Namor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Namor got chopped. Yeah, and I think it was Hyperion who did it, basically Marvel's version of Superman, Hyperion. It would be dope to see him, though, in the MCU if they ever got a chance to do it. So Squadron Supreme #13, the Alex Sanchez 1-in-25 variant from 2016. Another raw dog for 300 bones. All right, this one's gorgeous. What do we got next?
All right, next up we've got Vampirella #1, the Alex Ross Virgin 1-in-50. variant from Dynamite Entertainment, originally published in 2010. And we've previously mentioned how hard it is to find certain Dynamite variants. There's often a lot of chatter around low prints, and specifically if a run is even a low print, right? I mean, big companies like Marvel and DC, they have a specific print number. While that's unconfirmed, the opposite is said for Dynamite. They're known for only printing the specific number of copies ordered, which creates a significant rarity. Now, as noted throughout this week's list, not many stores were ordering 50 copies of Vampirella. When you look back at the talent that has drawn this character and how amazing many of these covers are, you should be grabbing any high ratio 2010 to 2015 Dynamite variant you can find. Just look at this incredible 1-in-50 variant from Alex Ross. This is something he would never be able to do for Marvel or DC, making it quite collectible just from that standpoint. But add in that rarity, and you'll understand why this sold for a new high of $625 for a CGC 9.8 this week. This book's even got an FMV of a raw for about $325.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vampirella is one of the characters that they either do a ton of variants or a lot of artists love doing Vampirella variants. I always see Vampirella variants. There's Vampirella books on the shelf right now. It seems like. It's been like ongoing. Like a grail of mine is to get Vampirella's first appearance, right? Way back when, in the 90s, part of the whole bad girl, comics movement, Vampirella was kind of the spearhead of that. You know what I mean? There was tons of like Vampirella. Remember Dawn? Remember that book? What was the artist name?
Michael Linsler.
Michael Linsner, who did Dawn. He could never draw two eyes because remember her hair would always cover one eye. Remember at the time, I remember Dawn, Dark Child, Evangeline, all those kind of bad girl comics, I guess, that were really prevalent in the 90s, Witchblade, half naked girls who were had powers, but
Lady Death. Yeah.
Lady Death and Vampirella, those two always, I think artists just love drawing them. Yeah, but Linsner, I saw Linsner doing some stuff recently. But I remember in the 90s that Cry for Dawn, I believe, is the name of the book. Was it Cry for Dawn?
It was Cry for Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah. That book was hot for a long time. Weird story too, really weird. I tried reading. I was like, I cannot get down with this. All right, so Vampirella, number 1, the Virgin 150 from Dynamite in 2010. All right, here's your chance to get on the board. If you watched this show and you had a chance to buy this.
Look at this. Coming back around. Yes. So Wonder Woman Black and Gold, number 1, the Warren Lau minimum cover from DC in 2021. KRS Comics commissioned and produced both a trade version and minimum trade version of this cover by Warren Lau. And wow, did he deliver. If you recall, Lau switched over to a more photorealistic style for 2021. As you can clearly see in this cover, Warren is upfront with his inspiration and often showcases his views for each cover. In this case, Australian model Tamara whatever her name is, look her up, everybody, is the subject used to create this gorgeous cover. And it was hands down our favorite cover of the year, and it is just gorgeous. The aftermarket feels the same as it was pushed raw sales for just the minimum cover to get a high of $196 and $455 for a 9.8. We can only imagine this will continue to increase. I love this cover. I absolutely think this is like the greatest one that they did. There she is. Check that out. I'm going to add her on Instagram.
TiVo, you're muted. I'm confused. So is this a photo of that girl that was holding this book up, and then
she was his inspiration, like his muse. Okay. Yeah.
So he drew her. He didn't just take a picture of her and then just add over the top of it.
Before that, Warren Lau did more of a different style, but then he started doing more photorealism, and so they have to basically they use somebody as a reference, but this was a KRS Comics sold out, but I just left it. Link in the live chat right there. There are cover A's available. All the other ones are sold out. So if you want to grab a cover A, there's still some left. Cover A and B unsigned, sold out. Cover A signed, sold out. Cover B signed, sold out. The CGC versions are sold out, but you can still get a cover A if you want. And what's the price on it? Not bad. It's let's see. Cover A unsigned is $75. So go on use the Lord's discount, save yourself some money. LOTLB. And look her up on Instagram. She kind of looks like Gal Gadot, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was at first.
Yeah, what?
That's what I thought it was at first.
No, yeah, this is the model. She's Austrian, I do believe. So, and Warren Lau is from South Africa, so I don't know how they came to it. Maybe he just found her on Instagram and was like, yo, I want to draw you. She's like, okay, whatever.
Don't draw the girls I follow on Instagram. That's going to get
trouble. All right, boys and girls, let's see what's shaking today on the CovrPrice Shakers list as I do the seamless transition. How you like them apples, huh?
Seamless.
Whoa, seamless. Here's the top 10. You know what? I haven't been in my shop in like 2 or 3 weeks, but I realized I did pull issues number 3 and 4. So I have that Moon Knight and the Strange Academy book. I was not glad.
Take the thing off the screen.
You got a comment up.
Oh, damn your damn comments. Hold on a second, man. There you go. Yeah. So I'm glad I pulled all Moon Knight and Strange Academy. So I got number 3 and number 4 on this list. But here are the highest units sold, but we're looking at the shakers, boys and girls.
Ooh,
and
I can see some cool books already.
Shaking today. Oh, wow. Look
Adventure comics right off the bat. This jumps right out at me.
Hey, I got 2 of them. Hey, let's look at this Adventure Comics. Number 64. Damn. 3,900 for a 9.0. The Sandman. That's pretty dope from DC.
Is that guy jumping at him, or did he hit him away? I'm trying to figure out.
I think he just hit him with his little magic wand right there. Yeah.
So he's jumping at him butt first.
Yeah, no, that would be a horrible attack,
Starman?
right?
Like somebody.
The original Starman?
I don't know. Or the Ray? I don't know who that is.
I think that's Starman. That's the original Starman.
Yeah.
I think he's right.
Yeah, because that has Sandman in the upper left-hand corner in the box.
So is that like that little thing in his hand? Because I'm watching Stargirl right now on HBO Max.
Oh, the staff?
Yeah, is that like that thing in his hand part of that staff? All right.
Yeah, probably.
Ooh, crime suspense stories. That's cool.
This is gnarly.
Yeah, I love these books.
Not shocking that this does. This is pre-code horror, right?
Look at it. You see the broken bone in his neck, like it's big.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Holy cow! My God, that is gnarly. Crime suspense issue number 20. 0.0.
What?
$1,400. 30 grand in a 9.2 sold in 2021.
It must have had like the cover detached or something, but that's crazy town.
Yeah, hey, good to see Darth Vader on it. Wow. Okay, hold on now, because I just sent 2 of these off to CGC. Yeah. This is Darth Vader number 3, first appearance of Dr. Aphra, O.O.O. and BT-1.
000. Come on, man.
9.6 sold for $1,050. 9.8 sold for $2,500. I just sent in 2, and I also sent in.
Look at that sales average for Raw.
Yeah, I've been seeing these things on Whatnot going for crazy money still.
Raw 605. Yeah. Holy cow! Well, apparently this says $1,000 or $1,000 for a Raw. So man, if you watched the last episode of Book of Boba Fett, it was incredible. It was
absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen any of the other episodes, just watch this last one.
Yeah.
Bryce Howard. Nuts, guys. Look at all this. Everything is raw. All these cells.
It's all raw.
Yeah. Strange Tales.
I mean, even just to bring it up, you can go back later, but the very first book on here is X-Men 1, and it's $13,000 for a raw.
Wow.
Like that's a lot of trust to be spending that kind of money on a raw book. And 2, the seller, how come he never sent that in? Like who still has that high?
Rated 9.4 sold for $153,000.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
We're gonna see these things go to the moon. Like these films still haven't been released or even officially announced. Just wait. This is just gonna continue. They're gonna be up there with like AF-15.
Hey, look at that G.I. Joe 155. That's a ghost, man. I'm still looking for one of these damn things. That's the final issue. And
have you ever read it?
No, I can't get my hands on that book.
So this book, there's no comic in it. There's no panels. It's strictly a letter from Snake Eyes, and it's a written letter from Snake Eyes about what it feels like to be in the army and to protect your country and things like that. It's a really heartfelt letter. The whole entire book is that.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
G.I. Joe, newsstand, $700. You know what? If they really do build a cinematic universe for G.I. Joe, like they keep on saying they will, you know, I can expect that book to explode. There's an entire series, the original Marvel series, is full of first appearances because that was the first time that they ever did them, in comics basically. So there you go. I mean, we've been talking about Sandman is a very grossly undervalued book, but no longer, man. First appearance of Lucifer Morningstar, $900 in a 9.8. But yeah, once this show gets done live action, man, I think it's gonna do big things. Good to see our friend Kazar on here.
How do you not have that Strange Academy?
Oh, I don't. This is the only one I don't have. I don't have the Breakfast Club variant.
Oh, that's the breakfast.
Yeah,
club.
so I have all the other ones. I even have the Walmart one. I sold my Peach Moco. I had a Peach Moco Virgin one, but the Opeña one is the one I still do not have. This is the homage to the Breakfast Club movie poster, if you remember.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I didn't know that. I think it's like a 1 in 50, if I believe. Let me see if the ratio. Yeah, it's a Jeremy Opeña 1 in 50. Yeah, so I missed out on that one because my LCS will get maybe 1 or 2 of them, and so if it's already spoke for, if I didn't get it soon enough, then boom, too late. Yeah. Oh man, I love this cover. This is dope. This is Clayton Crane Punisher. Look at that, all armored up, looking like War Machine, really? Was this one?
Right,
yeah.
That's when you got the War Machine.
Yeah,
when you spray painted.
Looks like you just took the War Machine armor and put the skull on it.
Yeah. This is a great series. This is a really fun time when you had that armor. It made sense. They even made like a hot toy of this too, which is really
that would
cool.
be dope.
Yeah,
that'd be dope. Like the Punisher needs more weapons, more guns. Hey, our favorite of the show here, Finn Jones, Marvel Premiere number 15, first appearance of Iron Fist. I think it's best time to buy is right now because it took a serious dive after the Iron Fist series on Netflix. But once the Feige effect kicks in, this book is probably gonna jump up. But maybe it already has. Jesus Christ, 9,300 for a 9.8. Holy cow!
Whoa,
my God. But 4.5 so 450. Sometimes there's a huge discrepancy between a 9.6 and a 9.8. I mean, look at the fair market value of a 9.8, 9,300 as opposed to 2,200. I
think the average, a nice sweet spot is about a third, right? The 9.6 is about a third of that 9.8. So when you see like huge gap, and that you can buy at and know that at a third you're going to make money, watch what happens because it normally will come up. It'll come up to about a third of what 9.8 is.
I used to have a 9.4, man. I should have kept it, but damn you, Finn Jones. Oh, this is gnarly. I like this. I'm digging this. Ghosts. Just Ghosts. Issue number 11. This is actually during the Comics Court. It's got the Comics Code Authority seal on it. We challenge you to read True Tales of the Weird and Supernatural, The Instrument of Death, The Spectre, Stock Selbach, Living Ghost of Mona Lisa, Devil's Take, Next Stop is there. That is gnarly. This is perfect for Halloween comic covers.
Yes.
I mean, I just have to buy one just for next year. Shit, man.
Yeah, you're paying $355 for it though. Raw.
No. Yeah. No. No. Hey, this is interesting. Let me look at this She-Hulk book here. Wow. Who did the cover on this? I'm trying to figure out who is, you used to be able to see artists write their names on the covers to see who did it. But that's a very sexy She-Hulk right there. Sensational She-Hulk number 1 for 2010 at $320. I think all She-Hulk books are going to get a bump as soon as the live action series pops off. Here you go, Ryan. Some tech comics for you.
Finally.
Robin about to get murdered.
Oh man, he's about to bash him with a club right there.
I can hear the voice in my head. Will Robin get out in time? Will Batman jump the ledge? Join us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's not bad at all, man.
That is good.
You can get an 8.5 for $1,300 for a book from 1945.
DC books are affordable.
Well, I mean, there's so. I mean, it goes. What is DC Comics up to like 1,000 issues? There's a bunch. There's a bunch of filler issues where it doesn't there's no key issue. There's no key first appearances.
It's just an old book.
Yeah, I have this. This is the San Diego Comic-Con first appearance of the century. First appearance of the century, Robert Reynolds, $270 for a 9.8. Man, that seems really undervalued. But man. Highest known value was May 1st, 2000.
Way down.
Wow.
$7.99. That I got to figure out if Matt's in the live chat why this was so cheap. If it was it a PGX books? What the hell was it? Somebody got it for PGX. Somebody got a killer deal on this, man. Or I'm trying to think if it was not a 9.8, but if it was qualified or something like that. But that seems rather cheap. Oh, these are gorgeous. I love these whole anniversary issues. They're where they have the borderline. The blanks on this are actually expensive because they had them with characters, but then they also made these these were anniversary issues where they had all these characters around them, and they kept the interiors blank for artists to draw in. So this is Jim Chung, one of my favorite artists of all time. Avengers issue number 4, a 9.9 for $249. Wow. All right. We see you get him. Look at, oh, come on now.
That's so cheap for a 9.9 in general. Wow.
This is dope. This is Canadian Fan Expo, Phil Jimenez. What about Canada? Canada's Mightiest Heroes. A little Vindicator action on there. Dope. Awesome. Little Alpha Flight. Canada Fan Expo. Kind of perfect.
Alpha Flight's coming.
Yeah, they got to, man. Yep. I have this and Raw too. This is a first appearance of the Enchantress. Mine is a pretty low grade. I might as well like a 4.5, but yeah. You know, the Executioner, I guess, because this book popped when the Executioner showed up in Thor Ragnarok, but he's dead. But, you know, I fully expect, you know, we can see some version of the Enchantress down the line, right? $257 for Raw. Highest known value, $13,000 for a 9.8. Holy cow, there's Bowser.
Look at that Web of Spider-Man. Go scroll back up. That 90s Web of Spider-Man, $265 for a Raw. Second tile there. Look at that. $265 for a Raw. This is the first appearance of Ben Reilly. No, it's the second appearance.
Yeah, not even first appearance.
Yeah,
but yeah, is that looks like the guy? Is that Eric Larson who drew this? That looks like Eric Larson art.
Yeah, it does.
No, Eric Larson is already at Savage Dragon by now. I can't think of the artist name on here.
Yeah, because look at the feet. Those are awful on Venom. Those are awful feet on Venom right there. I had this at one time. I believe this is the Ryan Stegman variant. Raw Dog, $224. Man.
Now, at one point, this was first cover, and then it wasn't first cover. I'm so confused with that, man. Don't even go there.
It's null and void now.
It's
yeah, it's null and void. One of my favorite titles of all time. What If? Issue number 1. I have 2 of these. One is graded. $232 for 9.6. 9.8 for $1,200 seems to be very reasonable. Very reasonable, especially some great
square bound. It's so tough to get that in a 9.
Scroll up a little bit, real quick. What is the difference? Hold on. Okay, scroll back down. So the Amazing Spider-Man, $239 right there. You own one. Mm-hmm. Now scroll down. There's another one on the list. Is one like a?
Yeah, one is a direct and one is a newsstand.
One is newsstand.
Okay.
Yeah, you see the logo, the Spider-Man logo. So if we look at this one, it'll probably say it's a newsstand. Yeah, so 1983.
You see the barcode there.
Yeah, $227. So 1983. Let me pull up my trusty graphic for newsstand
bring it up.
versus in 1983. Yeah, so you're better off getting the direct market version in 1982. So,
but nobody listens. They still want the newsstand.
No, yeah. They'll make the argument all day long that it's in high grade. Yeah, exactly. So I always say in a certain year, get the direct market if you can. But people still say, well, I'd rather still have newsstand in 1982 because they were harder to get in 9.8s because of spinner racks and whatnot. But, it was still a larger print run than it was for a direct. So that's it, boys and girls. We kept an hour of your time. Appreciate you guys for being we are held captives held captive by our shows and our silky smooth stylings. Any last words, Darkside Jedi?
Thursday nights are always a cool night. Shake it up with us, and we really appreciate it. Man, what a cool list this week. Join us next week. See what we got.
That's right. Gabe, any last words?
Everybody hit me up on Instagram, Gabe Loves 90s Comics, and Whatnot, Ninja Comics. Got a sale coming up on Saturday. Thanks again for everybody showing up.
Yeah. Discovery Bay, JB, any last words?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Shout out to Aegis for sending me this fantastic t-shirt. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hope you guys had a good time tonight. If you did, hit that thumbs up, and we'll see you. You got a show Sunday, Tivo? You doing something Sunday?
Yeah,
we'll see you on Sunday, and then next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm doing Letters of Longbox with Mikey Sun again on Sunday. You're going to have some news about his new Dreamwalker comic, big news. And follow me and Whatnot as well. I finally joined the cult. So it's just Lords of the Longbox, no spaces. I'm on Whatnot. I'll pop in live sale every now and then. I'm trying to figure out.
I got to do a sale soon. I just got an email that said if I don't do a sale, they're going to cancel my account.
Oh, for real?
Oops, yeah.
I got it too. I know some people. I'll tell them.
Pushing me. They're pushing me, man.
Yeah, I know some people. Let me talk to them. Let me say,
right,
yo,
all
leave
right.
my boy alone. Leave my boy alone.
That's cool.
For Gabe, Darkside Jedi, and JB, this is TiVo saying, see you Sunday for Letters of the Long Box, and keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out, boys and girls.
Now let's do this. Rewind, select and come again. Pull up that from the top to the very last. Jump.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? In this you shall know that the Lord is
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do it! We're here! We're back! Word up!
Get to the job.
You can't get fresher than this!
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 5 greatest heroes. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
When it comes, I won't even notice. Oh, how so? I'll be too busy looking good.